Good morning. My name is Alakwa Valina, and I'm here with Melissa Shepard this morning. And we're going to talk to you about implementing school-wide expectations. So Melissa and I are both teachers at Webster Elementary. I'm a third grade teacher, and she is a second grade teacher. And we're the Tier 1 coaches at our school. We have been doing this for a whole grand total of 2 years, and we really don't have any prior experience with PBIS. So as you can guess, we are still doing lots of learning. All right, kind of about our school. As I said, our school's name is Webster Elementary School. We are a pre-K through fourth grade school, and we have approximately 364 students. Of those students, 200 approximately are gen ed. We have 96 pre-K students, and we have roughly 68 special education students. We are a Title I school, and we have a wide range of abilities and special services at our school. Our school does house most of the special ed classrooms for our district, for our elementary level. And this is our second year at our school implementing PBIS. So the TFI that we're going to talk about today, as I said, was TFI 1.4. And that one is school-wide expectations taught. And this TFI states that educators will explicitly teach the expectations through the established examples and routines reflected in the teaching matrix and integrate active supervision and prompting, reviewing, and reinforcing expectations within the existing SEB or academic instruction. Some of the ways that we are doing this are kind of listed at the below. We have our lesson plans that we push out for our staff, our TFI walkthrough, professional development that we have hosted for our staff. We have, this is something that we just started this year, our Google Classroom, which both our staff and students can use, and we push out things also through our Google Drive. We have a boot camp at the beginning of the school year and throughout, like mini boot camps throughout. And we also have our monthly focus skills that we use. And Melissa's going to talk a little bit how we have organized our stuff. And hold on 1 second, let me mute.
Sorry, so we're
Okay.
we're in the same room and we didn't know how to do that. So, okay. So yes, we've looked at several different ways to kind of get things organized over the last couple of years. But right now we're really just using these three to keep everything on track and easily accessible by everyone. One of the things that we did think a lot about was not wanting it to be too overwhelming for other people in the school to find what we're talking about and all the things. So we began by mapping out which major topics we anticipated would be an issue. Then trying to just find a logical order to kind of present that information and teach those skills. Then we were able to go back and look at specific behaviors or specific locations that were having trouble based on spikes in referral data. So those don't come up as much as our main skills. We use Google Classroom and Google Drive, like Locke said. They kind of go hand in hand, but one is geared more towards the staff, while the other is geared more towards student use. We call our program K-Hawk Club. We have a math club and we have a reading club, which is our title pull-out services. So we try to kind of go off of that when we were coming up with a name for everything. So when the kids get on to Google Classroom, just like they would go to any of the other, like our language arts class or math class, then K-Hawk Club is its own class for all the kids. Let's see. So we set up Google Classroom by topic. Each month, whenever we introduce a new one, we post videos, we put up a copy of the matrix, any signage that we use that we post out in the hallway or whatever. And then if we have our Cardinal Council make a video, then we will put that up as well. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit. So the classroom is used in a few different ways. I know my own self, I use Google Classroom to introduce a new topic, kind of whole group. But then if we're having trouble with a certain skill, I might go back and have them review that section, the videos that are in there, the read alouds, all the material. And then sometimes if we have a little bit of downtime, I'll just let them get on there, and they love to go back and rewatch all of those silly videos that we find. The last one, we found a whole bunch of K-pop Demon Hunters themed ones. So they love to go back and look at that stuff. We're also working on a section in there that will be more for target behaviors. So if a kid is having trouble with cursing, then they can go to that specific section. There will be resources that they can use. Some of our behavior consequences that we have set up for those higher level behaviors. We have like mini boot camps or different little things that they can do, going back and doing a project or something. So that will all be set up for the teachers when they are assigning that consequence. Then the kids will just be able to go on, get on their computer, do it all themselves. There's the stuff for them to go back and review, and then they can do whatever it is that they're supposed to do from there. So then the Google Drive has everything that Google Classroom does, but it's geared more towards the staff. So that one will also have the more in-depth resources, copies of any activities that we have. We like to do a coloring contest or some sort of contest or fun thing each month. So all the copies of that are in there, the schedules, everything that the grown-ups would need. Okay, so then when we're teaching and reinforcing our behavior expectations, we use two main avenues. We have our boot camps that we do, and we have our Google Classroom, like we said. We start each school year with a big interactive school-wide boot camp. They go to all of the main areas in the school, and we talk about what things should look like, what we should be doing, what we should not be doing, all the things. So we try and be very specific with, this is what we expect here, this is what we expect here, this is what we expect here, since often it's not exactly the same rules. Then after each trimester, we like to have a mini boot camp, just as kind of a refresher. It might be a shortened version of our kickoff, or we did a school-wide Blick-It game to review one time, but just some sort of fun activity that keeps them participating and engaged in what we're talking about. And these are all geared towards school-wide participation. Then when we go and look at more classroom or individual use, that's more when Google Classroom comes in. We use that for skill introduction and for review. So this can be used by either the teacher or the student. Like as we try and keep this pretty kid friendly. And yeah, so this one will be used more if the teacher wants to focus on something specific, or then just letting the kids go in and kind of explore and look over things that we had already talked about. Okay, so then for reinforcing positive choices, we like to do a few different things with this. We have our K-Hawk Kudos that are done throughout the district. They're just little pieces of paper that when they're caught doing one of those things that we want them to do. We call it the K-Hawk way. When they're caught doing that, they get a little slip, they write their name on it, and they put it in our tower. Every Friday, we pick 5 names out of the tower, and they get a little goodie bag, usually just like a pin and a fidget, just a few different fun things. And that's 5 every Friday. Then we have our Cardinal Council. That is 3rd and 4th grade students. They apply if they want to be in the Cardinal Council. It's basically like our good behavior club. So they'll fill out all the questions that we ask. They're not allowed to have referrals. They're basically just our role models of the school. They do get special privileges. They make videos. They do our daily announcements. We have the kids, instead of the principal or the secretary doing announcements, we now have these kiddos on a schedule. And it's pretty funny to watch because they start out so nervous, but by the end, they've got it down. They get to help with parties. They have other tasks throughout the school. We have special meetings, and they have their pictures on the wall down by the main office so everybody can kind of see these are the kids that we're talking about. Our school-wide reinforcement is we do trimester parties. This year we did a pop party, which was popsicles, blow pops, and popcorn. We did an explore the school party where they got to just go check out anywhere that they wanted to do. There was little stations set up, like a little balloon area they could play in. We had the dancers from the high school come, and they could go check them out in the gym, and they just moved around wherever they wanted to do. And then we're going to have a movie party at the end of the year. But the big thing with this was they really like it because all of the grades are participating together. So there's not often times when everybody's in one space. So they really enjoy that, walking around with their siblings or walking around with their older neighbors. But it's a great way to build school community. Then when it comes to our results, it's pretty simple. The first is our TFI scores. So as you can see, there's 3 data points on there. The pink one is where we left off right before Alakwa and I took over. The yellow one is where the year we started about a month in. So immediately we try to set a few things in place, get a few things going and working from there. Then the red is where we were at the end of last year. So we made quite a bit of growth. We wanted to take it twice just so we could see kind of the progress that we had made. This year, we're getting ours all finished up now, so we don't have the data for that yet, but we'll be adding tier 2 and tier 3 scores in this time. There's several things that we set as action plan goals at the beginning of the year last year, and we went through all of those this year, and we ended up adding several more throughout because we'd hit our goals, so we'd add another one, hit our goal, add another one, and just keep pushing the best that we could. It was something that we kind of struggled with at times, trying to challenge ourselves, but we made it through. Then our other section is we had a big drop in referrals. And this was obviously, like I said, from this last year, but it was kind of a big deal to us because we feel like we should have actually went up in referrals because we did add 4 new teachers, putting data in. Our aides were writing referrals now because we finally got them trained. And there was a lot more consistency across all of the grades as far as actually documenting these things and putting everything into Swiss. So every way we look at it, those numbers should have went up, but instead they were going down. So we know something is working. turn my volume off for you.
Okay. So, this is just, oh wait.
That's 8.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So as we were looking at this and trying to decide where we felt like we fell, we scored ourselves currently at a 3 on the scale. The main point that we really felt like we put ourselves at a 3 is we do have a lot of support staff, and we have some new teachers and stuff. And to be at a 4, it wanted us to have 80% of the teachers being able to tell us how we're implementing these things. And we just don't really feel like we're there yet. So we have put some steps in for next year, trying to see how we could do this with some additional training for staff and looking for more opportunities to do that. Some other things that we're really excited to look at doing next year is increasing our student participation. So the students will also be understanding what we're doing and why. We want to have some student polls. We want to do, Melissa stated earlier that the K-Help Council is doing, Cardinal Council is doing the announcements. We want to have them doing the K-Hawk tip of the day, and just keep on adding those additional resources for target behaviors into our Google Classroom as we keep going throughout this journey, as we are still learning and implementing things for sure. I think I said all of those things. So we are still, I feel like we're actually past the getting started part now. We've been doing this a couple of years now, but just take it slow and build your base. Just rushing in and putting up too many things without having your staff buy-in and your staff involvement really can become detrimental if you're not careful. Remember, every school is different. Don't judge yourself based on the other schools in your district and what they're doing. One of the things that really I think has been great for Melissa and I is just setting our meeting times and making sure we're being good about meeting at those times. Getting better, challenge yourself. Like Melissa said, we met all our action points, so we added some new ones. Get creative, think outside of the box. When she first started talking about the Google Classroom and putting all this stuff in there, I'm not gonna lie, my brain was just like a little like, whoa, that seems so big. Like, are we gonna get this all in there? But at the same time, we're not the only school in our school district that is elementary school. Don't recreate the wheel. If there's somebody in your school district that's already, doing something that's working, don't be afraid to beg, borrow, and steal. Ask them for support, because I've known that, at least in our school district, they're always really willing to help you out. All right. That is all that we have for you guys today.